Welcome to Mick and Roman Radio Empire. Be the best you that you can be.
Hello and welcome to episode 5. I apologize for not being around as much lately. With the holidays and everything, things got a little bit crazy. But I am back now, and here we are with episode 5. And this episode is titled Understanding the Mind. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions from people as far as how law of attraction and mental health issues kind of work together. Like, how does one affect the other? And so that's kind of what this episode is for, is to clear some of that up. And I gotta tell you, this is a really good episode. This is great information to have. The first thing we gotta talk about here is what the mind looks like. Now, there's a lot of discrepancies here because in law of attraction, the way that the mind is perceived to work is a little bit different than, say, professionals, like mental health professionals, how they see things. So, I'm not a licensed mental health professional. I've told you guys that before, but I am going to give you, from the law of attraction, how the mind works. Buckle up, here we go. The first thing to remember in all of this is the multiple parts of the human mind. So you have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and what we call quantum consciousness. Now, in law of attraction, typically the way they look at it is they only really talk about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. But I've undergone some training recently. I'm looking into new stuff, and I'm going to have these resources for you at the end. But it's really good stuff to know, and it's where I picked up on quantum consciousness. And then a lot of dots started to connect for me. Because with the way that law of attraction teaches the mind, where it's only conscious and subconscious, I had a lot of questions. And understanding how the quantum consciousness plugs into it all, what its role is, it really opened up some doors for me and answered a lot of questions. So we're going to get into that. But before that, how does trauma affect the mind when it is in relation to conscious versus subconscious versus quantum conscious? This is a really good question, and it is one that I do get from time to time. So to begin this, I want to start the way we are all born. As a little tiny baby, we are learning everything from scratch. We are a blank slate, which basically means we have no conscious mind. We have not built that yet. We are existing solely in the subconscious. If we want something, what do? We can't talk. We don't know enough to walk or get things ourselves. So we have to scream for it. And we scream and we cry and we get it. And every little thing that we come across in life, we soak up. We learn. And then when we hit about 5 years or so, that's when we start to build our conscious mind. We start to understand more about the world, and that separation begins to take place between the conscious and the subconscious. Any trauma that happens in childhood, or in life for that matter, but since we're starting as a child, let's say any trauma that happens before you create your conscious mind is automatically imprinted onto that subconscious. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, the subconscious mind is where we store our programming. All the things that we don't think about. The subconscious mind is great for doing things behind the scenes, like telling your heart to beat, reminding you to take a breath. It governs our entire body, our system, tells us to digest our food and all of that, right? So that's stuff that we don't do consciously. It's in the subconscious. Now, the bad part about this is that anything that has happened to us that was bad, our subconscious mind stores that, and since it's imprinted there, we have defense mechanisms. So because we have these defense mechanisms, it tries to keep us safe. So it tells us that, hey, this was bad. We've got to not do that anymore. And the way that our mind kind of does that sometimes is a little backwards and screwed up. So the mind is trying to keep us safe, right? So we have these things in our subconscious mind. And that's the trauma, and understanding how that will affect our subconscious programming is a pretty big deal. So we're going to get into that too, but the very, very first thing that I want to start with here, because I want to stay on track. I've got notes and everything, so I want to stay on track, but now you've kind of got an understanding about the conscious and subconscious and how that works a little bit better. But let's get into the conscious mind. Now, the conscious mind is our waking mind. This is where we spend most of our life. This is where all of our negative emotions live. Our fear, our doubt. This is where all of that lives. That's the subconscious mind. We live in it. It's the reality that we all kind of look at. And most of us forget that there's anything else involved. And we live in that reality all the time. Being in the conscious mind this way is not necessarily totally a bad thing. But it does keep us cut off from the subconscious. And because we live in the conscious mind so much, we go on autopilot. A lot of us do. And then we forget that we have any control over our mind. It becomes reaction. Everything is reaction, right? So we're caught looking at this world and seeing how screwed up it is, right? And we become so reactionary. Like we react to every little thing that happens. Because we know we can't control anything outside of us. But that's okay. And we need to understand that that's okay. So the conscious mind, since it's where we live so much, and we look around and it's where we are when we talk to people, when we watch the news, when we spend time with our kids. That's all the conscious mind. It's all everything that you're doing when you're driving, when you're working, everything. Now, some of us do daydream. Some of us start to get a little disconnected from our conscious mind sometimes. And that's when we tap into the subconscious. And this is really, really cool because the subconscious mind is where things start to get interesting. Let's explore that a little bit. So say you're at work and you're daydreaming, right? It could be about anything. But for this example, let's say you're daydreaming about how you want your life to be. The things that you want to have, the things that you want to be able to do, right? You're daydreaming. Your conscious mind kind of goes on autopilot a little bit while you're daydreaming. That is, in essence, a little miniature meditation, is exactly what that is. And most of us don't realize it. We don't even know that we do it. But hey, that's okay too, you know? But now that I'm calling your attention to it, you're going to be able to see where I'm going with this here in a little bit. So I talked a little bit before about the subconscious, and that's where our programming, our internal programming is. So how do we tap into the subconscious deliberately? We don't have to wait for ourselves to daydream about something. We can tap into that subconscious deliberately, on purpose. How do we do that? This is one of the good things that the law of attraction teaches you. It's exactly how to tap into that subconscious mind, to imprint on it. Now, what is quantum consciousness? This is a relatively new concept, and it's unknown to most of the people who talk about law of attraction. I actually learned about it from a guy on TikTok, of all places. I follow a lot of people when it comes to how the mind works, law of attraction, all that kind of stuff. This guy, his name on TikTok was Mind Hacking Happiness. And he has a whole website about this, mindhackinghappiness.com. Now see, this is where the pieces started to fall into place for me. Because with law of attraction, when it was only conscious and subconscious, there was a lot of things missing there for me that I didn't understand. Especially as somebody who has mental health issues, right? So the law of attraction was created for neurotypical people. People who don't have these kind of mental health issues. And when I tried to tackle law of attraction before really tackling any of my mental health issues, I failed. In part. There were some parts that I succeeded at, and that was actually a really good thing, because that helped me once I started tackling some of my mental health issues, so where I could use and utilize the law of attraction in a powerful and meaningful way. So you have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the quantum conscious mind. From your conscious mind, you cannot access your subconscious mind. And if you can't access your subconscious, you cannot access the quantum conscious. Quantum consciousness is a consciousness that exists outside of ourselves, from our body, from our own mind to the universe. It is what connects us to the universe. Law of attraction people, they love to talk about the universe. They love to talk about how you can tap into the universe and put your desires out there, and you can make it happen with manifestation, which is true. I will give them that. But the mechanism, how does it work? That's always a piece that has eluded me until I found Mind Hacking Happiness. Essentially how it works is, if you imprint on your subconscious long enough, consistently enough, then you use your subconscious mind as a doorway to be able to tap into quantum consciousness. I know that sounds complicated, but it's really not. I promise you, it's really not complicated. When I break this down in the next episode, episode 6 is going to be more about the law of attraction, your morning routines, self-talk, things like this. I go in depth on how this all works together. Today we're getting an understanding of the mind, the different pieces, how it all works together. That's what we're doing today. So backing up just a little bit, when we're talking about living in the conscious mind, and that is our day-to-day life stuff. We get so comfortable being uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is, we live in the conscious mind. We live in the here and now to a degree. We react to negative things, and we react negatively. Now, the important thing to note here, and I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on this, is we are never unplugged from the universe. Everything you do, every thought you have, every emotion you have, you are manifesting. The law of attraction is working through you 24/7, 365. You're never not manifesting. So when we're in our head about all the negative stuff and we're complaining and we're talking bad to ourselves, we are manifesting. We are manifesting that negativity into our lives. And this is what this podcast is about. Stopping that in its tracks and beginning to manifest the things that we want for our lives, not the things that we don't want. Who wants a bunch of stuff that they don't want? Nobody. But it hasn't really been widely talked about how to do this to manifest the things that you want in your life. To bring you all the things you want and none of the things that you don't. So the first thing we have to do is realize that we are always manifesting. Always. That no matter what, it doesn't stop. It doesn't take a break. It doesn't take a day off. We are constantly plugged into the universe. And that is that quantum consciousness I'm talking about. That is how we are plugged in. So when we go through our day-to-day life and we tell ourselves just how messed up the world is because of all the things that we're seeing, we're manifesting that negativity in our lives and we're bringing more of that to ourselves. Now, I don't know about you, but that does not sound like something I want. So I began to piece together exactly how to do this. And I learned a lot. And now, because of my experiences, I am here to teach you so you can learn how to do this for yourself. Now, number one, I have never said, and I will never say, that you shouldn't see a counselor if you need to. Now, I have personally been to a counselor before, and it really helped me. I'm not in a position right now where that's an option for me. But going to a counselor, you have someone there you can talk to. They know the tools to help you through your issues. But you still have to roll up your sleeves and do the work yourself. And that's essentially what this is as well. So I'm not saying don't go see a therapist. I would never say that. I'm a huge advocate for seeking out professional help when you need it. However, at this point in my life, that's not an option. So I began to learn all this stuff to help myself. So, if you guys have any questions at all, do not hesitate to drop me a comment on my YouTube video. I can also put my email there so that you guys can get a hold of me. Jump on my Discord too, because I'm almost always on the Discord. And there's a lot of people there who really like to help people out. So, we're not alone. You know? The number one way to tap into your subconscious mind is through meditation. I know, it sounds a little frou-frou and new agey and maybe a little hippie-ish, right? But it's really not. When you stop and look at every single successful person, and let me be more specific. Millionaires and billionaires the world over, one of the things that they talk about almost consistently is daily meditation. And you're here to learn about the mind, right? How to make that better for ourselves, how to not suffer as much from our mental health issues. So it blows my mind when someone discounts meditation because it sounds a little frou-frou. If you really want things to change, you're going to try new stuff. And a lot of people don't know how to meditate and they don't know how to do it properly. Luckily for all of us, we live in a technological age where all information exists at the tip of your fingers. Everything that you want to learn how to do, you can find a YouTube video on. You can find somebody blogging about it. I mean, there's guided meditations out there. All you have to do is look. And my advice is not to discount anything because you don't like the way it sounds. So, meditation done frequently and consistently can put us in touch with our subconscious mind. Why would that be important? Why? A lot of people ask me that. Why do I need to be in touch with my subconscious? Well, because your subconscious mind is where all of your programming exists. All of our habits, when we go on autopilot, are all controlled by the subconscious mind. If you want to change your subconscious programming, this is how you have to do it. Not just meditation, though. Meditation in conjunction with the things that you want to have in your morning routine, and consistently working on goals. We all have goals. Something brought you to this podcast. Something brought you here to where you're listening to me. Goals are an important part of life. Without a goal, we're aimless. We're a boat without a rudder. And I feel that's what a lot of people are dealing with right now. I know I was for a long time. Feeling like I had no purpose. And it's because I didn't have clear goals set. If you don't have goals set, you don't have a direction that you would like to go in life. So that is important. That is something that we will be exploring on this channel in an episode, is good goal setting. How to do that. Not just how to do it, but understanding the need for it, the process of it, all that stuff. I talk a lot about manifestation. But Nick, this is a mental health podcast. Why are you talking about manifestation? Simple, really. For me, the law of attraction is one hell of a coping mechanism. It really is. Because it allows me to forget about some of my mental health stuff for a little while. And when I'm doing law of attraction stuff, I'm combating a lot of my mental health issues, and it brings me to a place where I can really do something about it. Now, we're taught to believe from a young age that only licensed mental health professionals know how to do this, right? They're the only people that can help you with mental health issues. It's simply not true. Of course, they want you to think that. They're making money off of it. I'm giving this information away. Giving it away. Free of charge, no strings attached at all. You just have to listen to my voice every now and then. Right? I don't ask you for money. Now, at some point, I will have a membership on my YouTube and stuff like that for live streaming events, right? But I'm not going to say you have to pay me so much a month in order to have access to my information. I'm not selling you a course. A lot of people have made money doing that. I refuse to do that. I'm here for the people who feel like they don't have anywhere else to turn. Because I know exactly how that feels. I've been where you are. I decided I was going to pick up the pieces and move forward and really try to help people. That is my only goal in this. So tapping into the unconscious mind or the subconscious mind is typically done through meditation. Being deliberate about it. Setting aside some time every day to really just be with yourself and be very conscious of your thoughts and your emotions and you. in the beginning, when people really don't know how to meditate, you can use guided meditations. And that's essentially somebody's voice telling you what to see in your mind. And it quiets the other parts of your mind. I don't want to get too much into this because this is for the next episode. Episode 6 is going to be more on this topic of how it's all done. So tapping into our subconscious is really, really important, because without that, we can't tap into the quantum consciousness. Now, I know that quantum consciousness sounds a little funny to some people, but there's been studies done, and this is a really cool thing. There's been studies done with twins where one will be in an MRI machine and the other will be across the hospital getting a light flashed in their eyes. And the cool thing is the one that's in the MRI machine, the part of the brain that controls vision starts to flash on the MRI machine when their twin is getting a light shined into their eyes. Now, this has been replicated dozens of times. This is not a fluke. This is not somebody with, ESP or anything like that, or, we are plugged into the universe and we are connected to each other. Now, the quantum consciousness exists outside of our body, and it connects us to the universe. The universe, everything is run on energy. We are made of energy. Really think about that. Let that soak in a moment. You are made of energy. And so is the universe. Everything is made of energy. We are made of the same stuff that the stars are made of. And that might not do anything for some people, but for me, that blows my mind a little bit. Because it just goes to show you how connected we are to the universe. And the basic principle behind manifestation is you become what you think about. I mean, there's all kinds of sayings that tell us this. We just can't see the forest for the trees sometimes. Like, think about you are what you eat, right? That's a good saying. Everybody knows that one. Basically means if you eat bullshit, you're going to be unhealthy, right? But it means so much more than that. It means if you eat smart, you will be healthier. Diet is actually a huge part of mental health. And it's something that's not really talked about very much, which it really should be. Because if you eat like shit, you're going to feel like shit. It is that simple. If we're eating boxed foods and frozen pizzas and soda, if we're having all that stuff, but then we wonder why we don't feel good. We wonder why we always feel like shit. And a nutritionist will tell you this. They will tell you this. As somebody who used to be a power lifter, I had people who were advising me on how to eat and everything, and that's one of the big things I heard. You are what you eat. If you put good things in, that's what you're going to get out. If you put bullshit in, you're going to feel like shit. But it's more than just how you eat. It's also what you do, what you think, how you feel. These things connect us on a level we can't even begin to understand. Which is crazy when you stop to think about how much information we have at our fingertips. Anything we want to know in the entire world, we can just look up on our phone. We can Google it, right? Think about that. So we have to tap into our subconscious mind to change some of those lines of code, those internal programmings that we have that keep us down. We start to change that, then we imprint on the universe what we want. And through law of attraction and manifestation, we get what we want. We can manifest anything in our lives that we want. What do you really want? This is part of that goal setting. What do you really want? Me, I wanted to not feel like shit. So I had to reframe that because I know that the mind doesn't really do well with negatives. We don't talk about what we don't want. We have to talk about what we do want. So one of my goals has been to feel better mentally, to be more mentally fit, to build mental toughness, but at the same time be more understanding with myself, be kinder to myself. And that goes a long way towards coming out on top of our mental health issues. And it doesn't matter what you suffer from. I'm not saying that you're going to cure yourself of everything and you're going to be neurotypical. But I'm saying with enough work, you can take control to where you don't feel like shit every day. To where you have more good days than bad. To where it's more manageable. That's what I've gotten out of this, and that's exactly what I want to share with all of you. I want everyone to be able to feel like that, to have this amount of control. Then it's tough. There's days it's going to be hard. I'm not going to bullshit you on that one. It's going to be difficult sometimes. But it is possible. The world will open up for you. And then at that point, when you start feeling better, you can say, you know what? Like where I'm at right now, you know what? Okay, now I'm going to start manifesting wealth. Not just financially, but in every sense of the word. I want to be wealthy in time. There's a distinct difference between someone who is rich and someone who is wealthy. If you're rich, you just have a lot of money. If you're wealthy, you have time. Your time becomes more open and free. You get to do with it what you want. You're not dedicated to work. I mean, you still got to do some stuff. Like, you still got to work, but your time becomes much more free. Now, I have an amazing family. I really do. I've got 2 awesome little kids, and I've got a loving spouse. But sometimes I can't see that I'm wealthy in that way. And so that's one of the things I'm focusing on now, aside from monetary gain, financial stability, is the ability to understand how wealthy I am, and that comes through gratitude. And that's another part of meditation or tapping into your subconscious. The attitude of gratitude. It's really important. But anyway, that's going to be saved for the next episode. If you guys have any more questions for me, don't feel shy. Go ahead and post those questions down in the comments underneath my YouTube video. And I will address those as soon as I can. My Discord is available. The link should be in my YouTube channel. If not, I will put the link in the description of the video. Feel free to shoot me a message at any time, asking me questions, giving me comments, anything like that. If anybody is looking for more information on voiceover or podcast work, or for editing or post-production or anything like that, please send me an email at mick@dynamicvoiceover.com. Please remember to like and subscribe to the videos, share with your friends. It really helps the algorithm out. Until I see you again, Take care of yourself. You are loved. You are worthy. You matter. I love you all. Have a great day.